Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and welcome to what is clearly a very special video. New camera, new gear, the first time you get to see my smiling face rather than just my fingers. If you are a subscriber, I hope I'm not a disappointment, and if you're not yet a subscriber, there's a little button down there that can help you with that. And I thought today, because this is a special video, I would start with a review of a very special watch. This one. This is the top watch in my collection. This is my Breitling Navitimer. I've owned this beautiful timepiece for just over 2 years now. Doesn't get an awful lot of wrist time though. I'm still quite precious about it, but then again, this one's going nowhere. I've got a whole lifetime of enjoyment ahead of me. The word icon is overused these days, but I think justifiable in this case. A truly iconic timepiece. So without further delay, let's flip the camera and get into the review. So let's have a closer look then at this beautiful watch. Now this one came over from the UK. Originally it came with a lot more packaging than this, a big black, I think it was plastic box with a lot of yellow. This is the classic Breitling colours here, the black and yellow. I left that behind and I just brought over the rather natty little case. A bag full of papers here, none of which I've read obviously because I'm a man and men don't read instructions. 5-year international warranty on this nice little poker chip style thing there. Although I'm hoping that I don't have to avail myself of the warranty at any point. So the watch itself, there it is, and just gorgeous. I'll take it out of the little road case. Now if you're into these watches, you've probably already realized that I've changed the strap. This one came on a deploying strap. This was given to me by my father actually, the watch, and it was brand new. I got to pick the specifications. My dad has had a Breitling Navitimer on his wrist for many years, and he was very generous enough to gift me one for my birthday a few years ago. He's got a blue one, comes on the deploying clasp like this, but I just find the deploying a little bit thick. I'll show you what I mean in a second, but look at the quality, the stitching of that leather. Really nice there, 22 to 20, but that is at least a centimetre. It does add a fair size to the bottom of the watch. I kept it on that for a couple of years, but I recently just swapped it over onto this this tang buckle here. So Breitling have been making watches since the late 1800s, 1884 I believe. They started making this model in the 1950s. They got themselves into a spot of trouble in the 1970s with the quartz crisis and so on. They were bought out or bailed out, perhaps is more accurate, by Secura, but they seem to be getting on fairly well for themselves these days. Now this is confession time. This is a pilot's watch, but I'm not a pilot. I do not own a plane. I used to work at an airport, but that's probably about as close as I'm ever going to get. So I'm a bit at a loss as to what all those numbers on the dial are. I'm guessing that should you have an emergency in your plane, the watch will be of assistance to you, but I don't really know much beyond that. So then a look at the chronograph, a fundamental part of the appeal of the Breitling Navitimer. This one is a 2015 model, so it's got the Breitling, I believe it's the B2, the Breitling B2 movement. Prior to that they had a Valjoux movement in them, but this is all in-house. 3 sub-dials there. The 9 o'clock is effectively the second hand. 3 o'clock we have a 1 to 30 minute timer, and then a 0 to 12 hour timer on the bottom, so the maximum you can time is 12 hours. Now I don't wear the watch a lot, I don't press the poppers an awful lot, but there they are. A nice stiff positive action you could say on that one, and that gorgeous little red hand doing what it does best, a very smooth sweep there as it proceeds around the dial. Just gorgeous. And of course it's got that stunning B at the back of the counterbalance there. Another nice little touch indeed. And then always pressing stop, another firm push, and the reset there back up to the 12 o'clock. So let's bring it in for a close-up on this dial. The Breitling Navitimer really is all about the dial. Now I have confessed my sins, I'm not a pilot, I've no idea what's really going on here, but I do appreciate the look. Beautiful applied Breitling logo there, and applied batons on the indices. Now I spec this one from new. I had the choice of either Arabic numerals or batons. I figured there was an awful lot going on the dial of the Navitimer at the best of times, and the numerals made it look even fussier, so I went with the batons. Beautiful bevel edging to the date window there at the 4:30. Maybe you can just see that catching the light. Now it does have lume, superluminova on those pips and the hands. Lume is excellent, as you'd expect from a watch at this price point. Let's flip it around, have a look at that lovely signed Breitling crown and the poppers. Now only 30 meters water resistance. This is a pilot's watch after all, not really meant to be taken into the water. If you're wearing a pilot's watch and you're in the water, you are in the wrong place. Lovely coin edged bezel. Bezel very stiff to operate. It is bidirectional. I'm guessing that should all your instruments die, you play around with this bezel and instantly know where you're going. The watch rescues you. I have no idea, so I don't really move it much further than where it is now. Anti-reflective coating, as you can see the blue there shining in my studio lights, but not too distracting. Okay, so let's have a look at the case back. Almost, but not quite, as stunning as the dial. Isn't that superb? Lovely, deep etching there of the Breitling logo in the middle. And finally, some numbers on this watch that I do actually know what's going on. This is a Fahrenheit to centigrade conversion scale. Should you ever require to convert from one temperature system to the other, there it is. But just gorgeous. Picked up a few scratches already. I guess anything with a highly polished surface will inevitably pick up scratches. I'm sure that when I do take it in for a servicing, they'll polish that out. When I do take it out for a servicing, I'll probably need to take a second mortgage. I don't imagine that Breitling servicing costs are going to be anything other than a little bit expensive. But I don't wear it every day. I'm hoping that I can get away with not servicing this one for a good few years. So let's pop the watch on the wrist. That's how it looks on my 7-inch wrist. 42mm, as I said, is just about the maximum for me, but this watch wears so nicely. I like it on this tang and buckle strap. Wears a little bit thinner than it did on the deployant clasp earlier on. I think the bracelet might be a little bit too much, certainly a little bit too much for my tastes. A little bit too shiny. There's enough of a bling factor coming off that dial. That is for sure. Just a stunning watch in every way. So there you have it, the Breitling Navitimer 01. A stunning timepiece, one I'm very proud to own, and I look forward to a lifetime of enjoyment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.